Okay, guys. So, my thoughts on the series finale for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 6 specifically. What did I think? Well, I think Deborah Chow knows how to end a series with a bang. I think that she has a firm grip on the characters of Obi-Wan and Anakin, as well as Leia to some extent. I think that it was phenomenal getting to see another duel between Obi-Wan and his fallen student, his fallen apprentice, Darth Vader. And it was good seeing Obi-Wan getting some closure, some psychological, mental closure. There's actually I'm going to get into spoiler territories at this point, so I really can't talk about this without spoilers. I really am curious whether when Darth Vader, there's a moment where Darth Vader tells Obi-Wan, "I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did." Now, I can't say with 100% certainty either way whether that was Anakin trying to comfort and console Obi-Wan to let Obi-Wan know this isn't your fault, this is all my fault, or if that was more Darth Vader trying to hurt Obi-Wan, trying to tell Obi-Wan Anakin's dead. I made sure of that. I'm not sure exactly what his goal was there, or if it was a little bit of both, if there was two things working, two purposes working their way into that sentence. I think that it was intense hearing that. It was also intense. The battle itself was intense. Don't get me wrong. The action, the aggression, seeing Vader sucker punch Obi-Wan in the face and then bury Obi-Wan under a bunch of rocks was brutal. And then Obi-Wan getting back into the fight, throwing the rocks back at Vader, and then Vader, after having his breathing respirator damaged, just continues to fight, continues to stay in the fight. Then Obi-Wan hacks his mask wide open, leaving the left side of his face exposed. That was some deep stuff. And it allowed audiences to see and hear Anakin's voice being filtered through Darth Vader's voice modulator. So you hear James Earl Jones's voice and Hayden Christensen's voice kind of competing for the audio. So it's interesting hearing that Hayden Christensen, James Earl Jones voice mixture. That was really, really interesting. And kind of a callback to what happens in Rebels when Ahsoka cuts Vader's mask open and you hear Matt Lanner's voice through the mask. But this was intense. Just hearing Vader's real human voice, hearing Anakin's voice through that mask was deep, and him almost seemingly inadvertently giving Obi-Wan some closure. Obi-Wan always held, since episode 1 of this series, held it against himself that Anakin turned to the Sith, that he turned to the dark side. He blamed himself for it. But Vader seemingly exonerates, whether purposely or not, he exonerates Obi-Wan, absolves Obi-Wan of all responsibility for what happened in episode 3 in Revenge of the Sith. He claims total credit or blame for what happened. I don't know if he intended that to make Obi-Wan feel better necessarily, but Obi-Wan was able to walk away from the duel feeling like, okay, not all of this is my fault. He was a full-grown guy. He made his choices. He wasn't forced into doing anything. He made his choices, basically. And that helps Obi-Wan become a much more sunny, optimistic character by the time we get to A New Hope. Actually, by the end of this episode, by the end of the finale, when Obi-Wan goes back to Tatooine and checks on Luke after Reva has been dealt with after she's done. When he goes to meet Luke for the first time, you can tell Obi-Wan's entire demeanor has shifted. His personality has shifted. He's still the same guy, but he's much more optimistic. He's much more at peace with himself, and that was really fulfilling, very satisfying to see this character that's been through so much to get some peace, some inner peace. So I loved that. I loved that aspect of the series conclusion. Some more spoilers. If you don't want to hear these spoilers, leave now. But we get a couple cameos that we've long coveted but have been denied thus far, and that is, number one, we see Qui-Gon Jinn's ghost for the first time ever. We get a hint of that in episode 2 when you hear his voice trying to communicate with Anakin during the Tusken Raider slaughter, and Yoda mentions communing with Qui-Gon's spirit at the end of episode 3. But we don't actually get to see Qui-Gon. We haven't seen Qui-Gon since 1999, so it was pretty in live action anyway. But we finally get to see him, played by the great Liam Neeson himself, in his robes, his long hair, his beard. Getting to see that old stoic Jedi again was a lot of fun. I was excited to see that. We also get to see Palpatine, Darth Sidious, at least one more time, at the end of, close to the end of episode 6, in which he appears as a hologram speaking to Darth Vader. He's got the same robe from the end of episode 3 through episode 6, the film episodes. He's got the cool classic makeup on. He doesn't really go for the groggy voice that he has in episode 3 or 6. He has a much more fatherly, gentle voice, kind of like his going back to his Palpatine persona from the prequels, where he's trying to calm Vader down, asking Vader what's wrong. I think he asks him what's troubling. He knows what's troubling him. He asks him what's troubling him, but he knows Vader's pissed because he lost the duel to Obi-Wan. And Palpatine he implies that maybe Anakin's old feelings, his warm feelings for Obi-Wan, may have started to unravel Vader's power, and maybe Vader's obsession with Obi-Wan is starting to undo him a little bit. It's starting to weaken him. To which Vader tries to brush that away. He says, "Oh no, I'm only loyal to you. You're the only mentor I've ever really had." And Palpatine kind of smirks, and his hologram goes away. But it was interesting getting to delve into that Vader-Palpatine relationship. It's cool not only seeing Palpatine again, it's always cool seeing him, but also seeing him interacting with Darth Vader to see where their relationship is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So that was really cool. So I asked you guys before what y'all thought about what you thought about the series. I think this is the best Star Wars series, TV series, that we've had, period. I think it's and don't get me wrong, the others are pretty cool too. I like Mandalorian. I like Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. I haven't seen Visions yet. I'm not really into anime, so I wasn't really thrilled about the aesthetic of Visions. But either way, Kenobi so far is my favorite bit of Star Wars to come out since Revenge of the Sith. So this for me was very satisfying as someone who lived and breathed by episodes 1, 2, and 3 from the late 90s to the mid 2000s. This was very satisfying. It builds on the prequels and adds some more substance to the original trilogy some of which we didn't know we wanted. So that was very welcoming. The performances are all excellent. Hayden Christensen does a fantastic job as Vader and Anakin. And Ewan McGregor, I mean, he's a powerhouse of an actor, so we all knew he would do good. The girl that plays Vivian Blair, I think her name. I can't think of her last name, but the actress that plays young Leia she's fantastic. She's a cute little kid, and her spunkiness really makes you really believe this is a young Carrie Fisher. So I thought that she was a really great addition to the series. Joel Egerton playing Uncle Owen Lars. Bonnie, I can't think of her last name. Her first name is Bonnie. The actress's name is Bonnie that plays Aunt Beru. Owen and Beru are excellent in this series as well. They're more secondary characters in this series, but they are grizzled, kind of isolated farmers. Their singular purpose, kind of like Obi-Wan, their only purpose is to watch after Luke and very much protect him as if he was their own, as if he was their flesh and blood. So their performances are good. Maybe we'll get to see more of them in the future. But either way, everybody does a great job, and I enjoyed it. So let me know what your thoughts and feelings are if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.